We are about to blow your mind with our new line of probiotics. This has never been done before in the human or pet industry, and we're super excited to tell you about it. So we have 3 probiotics. We have soil, leaf, and farm. These are derived from some of our favorite whole foods. Soil is from dark leafy greens, farm is from raw yogurt and milk, and leaf is from kombucha. These probiotics are super unique, and what makes them so unique is the way that we make them. Can you tell us about the process of how we make them?
So normally when you make a probiotic, you take 1 to 10 to 15 strains and you grow those out in a lab. And that really doesn't sync up with nature, in that in nature you have what is called low potency, high diversity. So what makes these probiotics so unique is that we take the entire food culture, which contained hundreds to thousands of strains of probiotics. We then strain out the food itself, and then we grow the culture separately. So instead of 1 culture to 5 cultures that are going to monoculture the gut, meaning you're going to fill up the gut with just those cultures, here you have hundreds of probiotic strains in less potent amounts as they would appear in your dog or cat's evolutionary environment.
With these being derived from food, they really are just a super condensed version of those foods, with the food taken away, which is kind of tricky. So you're getting all the beneficial bacteria and healthy yeast from these foods, but without the energetics or the things that would cause food sensitivities or something like that.
The other really cool thing too is that since we're growing out the entire culture every time we produce it, the probiotic strains aren't going to grow out in the same way every time. So even if you use the same one, say you're using soil, you'll get the same probiotics, but they'll grow out in different amounts. And this is very important because, again, these are promoting diversity over potency of single or certain strains.
We often reach for probiotics when we're coming off antibiotics, or when we have problems with the gut, or with a puppy trying to build their immune system or something like that. And in those cases, you actually really want to be gentle. You don't want to overpower it with too high of potency. And that's kind of where the beauty of these come in, is that you have this great diversity, but actually a lower to kind of moderate potency.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's actually why you see sometimes dogs and cats take a probiotic and have a digestive issue, because their stomach isn't used to having that amount of potency of a single strain or a couple of strains. Soil is the equivalent of letting your dog go out in the grass and roll around and eat dirt. This is nature's microbiome. This is going to be great for allergies. It's going to be great as a baseline, just probiotic, everyday diversification tool. And remember, we maybe need to move away from dogs have an issue, so they take a probiotic, and into all dogs and cats need as much diversity as possible. And that's really where soil is going to shine. And soil is made from Bailey's blends. We wild fermented it. So all of the cultures in here come from the green cabbage, the broccoli, the cucumber. And so that is where this plays into nature being the formulator on this one. So as we mentioned, leaf is derived from kombucha, and this is going to be great for pets with yeast issues. The reason being is when your pet has a yeast issue, typically that's 1 strain of yeast overgrowth. And so this has over 200 different species of healthy, happy yeast, which will help to overpopulate that bad yeast. So that can be very beneficial, and this is also really, really good for metabolism as well, and healthy weight loss, and just good metabolism in general.
So when you're dealing with a yeast issue, there's kind of 2 methods. There's either the starve out or the balance. And so when you're balancing, you're adding healthy yeast to help balance out the bad yeast. So this is going to be our balance method.
Yeah, so you could actually do both methods. So the starve out method of dealing with yeast is to just reduce carbohydrates basically 100% and not feed that at all. And so if you do that, you can do that until the yeast issue clears up, and then you can go ahead and add this, because your dog does need healthy yeast over time. Or if you're just going by that, reducing the carbohydrates somewhat, you can use this over time. This will take consistently giving it over a couple of months before you start to see that completely turn around. And this is actually derived from my own kombucha SCOBY, which has been developed over 10 years, specifically for diversity of many different SCOBYs and cultures over time. And so very, very high in that healthy yeast and just general probiotics as well. So farm, as we mentioned, is derived from fermented raw milk. So raw milk is actually an immune system in and of itself. It's the first immune system. It helps to build an immune system. And so as far as I know, raw milk is really the most culturally diverse food on the planet. So this is going to have thousands of different probiotics and healthy yeast in it. So this is going to be wonderful for helping your pet's immune system, for general diversity. And it doesn't just come from what's in the raw milk itself. It's called farm because of the fact that if you look at studies, you can actually see that when they take swabs of different areas of the farm, that ends up in the raw milk as well. And we know that mammals that consume raw milk and grow up on farms, we know that they have less allergies, we know that they have less asthma symptoms, things like that. So this can be really helpful with just general immunity. And this actually comes from my home raw yogurt culture, which has been alive for over 2 years, and specifically, again, developed for diversity in local farms around me and different cultures. And so this is a very, very diverse culture with both yeast and healthy probiotics.
So an interesting thing about farm is that this is made with goat milk and cow milk, which helps contribute to the diversity. But in terms of pets with sensitivity, we don't worry about that because, again, how we made this, it's taking it away from the actual food source. So you don't have to worry about the difference between cow and goat if that is an issue for a pet. This is super simple to feed. We provide a custom scoop within the jar, and then you just check on the box how many scoop your pet needs, add it to their meal, mix it in, and that's it.
Storage is very easy. You can actually store this at room temperature after it's open for up to 24 months. We do recommend refrigerating it, but it just depends on what works for you.
Somebody walks into a pet store, who are you going to recommend soil to?
So soil is our general starter recommendation for just general probiotic maintenance. This is also really great for allergies. And remember that dogs and cats evolved to live outside, and they don't do that anymore. And so it's very, very important that we bring that into their bowl, and this is the #1 way to do that. So Kelly, when a customer walks into a store, when would you recommend Leaf?
So Leaf would be our go-to recommendation for any dog struggling with yeast issues or trying to maintain weight, because it's also helpful for metabolism. All right, Billy, when are we going to recommend Farm?
So Farm is going to be really good for those animals that need a boost to their immune system, general immune health, and just for those animals that maybe can't do raw dairy but are looking for the full probiotic benefit of the food itself.
So this would be a great thing for puppies and kittens, maybe?
Yeah, this would be a really good thing, especially when they're very young, like 8 weeks old. So while each of these have a specific health issues that they target, we get asked often for a healthy dog or cat, if you're just looking for general diversity, is rotation good? And in nature, you're getting all of these different probiotic sources, all of these different strains, and so we would highly recommend, if you have a healthy dog or cat, to rotate between all 3 of these on a regular basis to get all of that diversity into their diet.
There's a lot to unpack here, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at info@greenjuju.com or through Instagram, where Billy and I both respond.